Welcome, 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 our advanced scholars, to the sixth class of the advanced block. Tonight, we are going to learn about resume building. Excuse me. And as I shared earlier, this is a very important class as it is a part of your end of course project. Every scholar has to submit a resume, and it's not just for our benefit of just reviewing it and supporting you all, but it's for your benefit as well, being able to have that experience, a very valuable life experience of creating your own resume. Yes, Shania.
I have a question. Do we have to just submit the resume or do we have to submit something else besides the resume?
That's a good question. So, what I could do really quickly is in all of the emails you've been getting about the class, there's been an attachment that has the full write-up of everything you need to fully complete this block, the advanced block. So I am going to open that document and I'm going to share my screen and go through it really, really quickly. And I'm also going to drop the link in the chat for everyone. That is it has attached every
Miss
single
Latoya, you sounded
email.
really choppy.
Hear me now?
Yeah, we can
It's
hear you. You sound
glitching.
really
Maybe it's my headset. All right, is that a little bit better?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I have my AirPods in all day, so maybe they're just dying on me. But yeah, so this document has been in your email with every class reminder email. I'm going to put the link in the chat and I'm going to quickly share my screen and I'll just show you this end of course document. That way we're all clear. So yes, as you can see here, all scholars will submit a resume by May 16th, 2024 by 6 p.m. So similar to the fundamentals when you all had your projects due and they had to be submitted by 6 o'clock the day of the end of course assessment, it's the same situation here. So again, you'll receive further guidance as you see right there in parentheses here. Further guidance for this will be shared in the resume building class. So that's what you're going to be learning about tonight. And then here, in terms of your presentations, the next class is going to be on perfecting communications through presentations. So you'll receive more guidance about this. But all of you, since you all did a business plan last block for fundamentals, will be doing a business pitch in a virtual presentation form. So very similar to what you all pitched before, but now you're going to actually create a slide deck. So I won't get too much into that because like I said, we're going to go over that in the class that I teach next week. But a lot of what you're going to learn tonight about resume building, business writing, a lot of what you've learned in the previous class on business writing will pertain to um, what we're going to go over tonight and for the end of course. I'm just reading your comment, Shania. I don't know why, but I can update that. But again, it's in every single it's in every single reminder email for class that you've submitted. So go ahead and try to click on that link again and you should be able to get in there. All right, so while I have you all, I'm going to go ahead and jump into our pre-test so we can get started for tonight's class. I don't see any of my other scholars. I'd love to see you, Joelle, Nina, and Sormenta. Are you all here? Oh, there you go. Hi, Nina. Yes, let's Finish strong, right? We've been saying we're almost at the end of the road. How are you, Nina? You okay?
Yeah.
Good. It's Thursday, Friday, Junior. We're almost there. All right, I put the link for the Mentimeter pretest in the chat box. Go ahead and click on that link and we will jump in. Hi, Sarminta. Great to see you. I like your hair. All right, I see one player's in there. Let me share my screen. All right, 3 players are in there. Let's see, Shania, Nina, Sarminta, Joelle. I'm just waiting on one more scholar. Hi, Joelle. Great to see you. All right, there we go. So, hiring managers will usually look at a resume for how long before making a decision. And remember, this is the pretest, so no answers will be revealed. Nope, Shania, the resume is due on the 16th. All right, looks like we got a lot of different answers there, so make sure you make note of that tonight. When Miss Rosie goes over it, make sure you take that note. Which is not considered a soft skill? Leadership, teamwork, problem solving, knowledge of Microsoft Office. Which one is not considered a soft skill? All right, moving on. I like there's a hamburger icon tonight. Your career objectives describes list of future goals, prior employment, your job, or your overall career goal. Oh, you guys are using the whole time to answer these. All right, a lot of mixed different answers. Okay, that's another question you all want to make note of for tonight. Education and experience should be listed from most relevant to least, from most recent to oldest, from first job to last. It does not matter. All right, a lot of different answers here. Okay, so we got a lot of opportunity for some good learning today. All right, last question. Which selection would you list in work experience? Babysitter, honor roll, bilingual, or energetic? Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you all participating with that. As you know, the process, you'll receive a post test with the similar questions, but all of those questions will be answered tonight during the class. So please be attentive, make note, try to have yourself sitting somewhere where there's the least amount of distractions, really engage, participate. I promise you it will be interactive and a great class. You will learn a lot. So, Miss Rosie, you're all set?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Excellent. Good
Have a
evening,
great
everyone.
class.
Thank you, Miss Latoya. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I am so excited to be here today with you all. Shania, Sarminta, Nina, Joelle. I know we have a few scholars out, so hopefully they'll be able to join later. But we're not going to delay the time because you all were here on time. So let's get excited because today we are talking about resumes, and there's a whole lot to cover when we talk about resumes. Let me just get my presentation up. And here we go. All right, so just give me 1 second to put this in presentation mode. All right, this block is in. All right, here we go. So can everybody see my screen? Okay, awesome. Excuse me. I'm battling with a little bit of a cold here, so I apologize for that. All right, so we're talking about resume building or resume writing, right? Apologize. And a resume is essentially your professional bragging rights. And we'll talk about how what a resume is used for, why it's necessary, especially in any arena, actually. So high school, you want to start documenting all the things that you've done from high school on, right? Volunteer work, any paid internships, any non-paid internships, any paid jobs that you've received, that you've worked, whether it's mowing the lawn or babysitting, right? You want to be able to capture that information and the level of experience or the amount of experience that you have been exposed to, right? And you've been able to receive through these opportunities. So let's get right into it. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to come off mute and ask. So today's class, our objectives: upon completion of this segment, we're going to be able to create a practical resume that can be used for jobs, college, internships, or scholarships. And some of you all are seniors. Many of you all are going into your final year of high school. You'll start, and some of you have already started the process of, creating your resume, or like a documentation of everything that you've done, so that when it's time to apply for these scholarships and when it's time to apply for these schools for college, you have all that information listed. Because guess what? Colleges want to see what you've done. Just as with work experience, colleges want to see what you've done academically. When it comes to any sort of extracurriculars, they want to see that you've been active. They want to see how much you have engaged. So we're going to be able to create a practical resume. We're going to go through that, some tips and tricks and some things to know about the resume. And then I'm going to break you all off into groups so you all can create your own resume. So I've already selected 2 samples that you guys can choose from. I've converted them into a Word document. And what you're going to do is basically just remove the information that's there and replace it with your own. All right. And so we'll go over what that's supposed to look like and what it's supposed to feel like. We'll employ best practices when putting together a resume and identify some common errors and avoid making them. All right. So let's get started. All right. So what is a resume and why is it important? Shania, you want to read the first bullet for me, please?
Yes. A resume is a document that's used to highlight one's professional and academic background, skills, and accomplishments. It is used to secure employment in certain industries that are non-profit and public sectors. You may also hear the
Thank you.
term.
Wait, Shania. Thank you so much. I just wanted you to read the first one. Thank you. I
Sorry.
appreciate that. No, thank you for your proactiveness. I appreciate that. All right.
You're
So
welcome.
Nina, yes, thank you. Nina, can you do me a favor and read? I think Shania covered the first 2. So if you can read the third bullet for me.
Yeah, you may also hear the term CV or curriculum vitae, more
Vitae.
detailed account of vitae, more detailed account of credentials, academic accomplishments, etc. Number of page vary.
Yes. And then the last bullet, Joelle, can you read that for me?
Considered persuasive writing.
Excellent. So a resume is a document that highlights your professional and academic background. So I've already explained what that means, right? We talked about it, how you really want to make sure. And again, we talked about your bragging rights, right? This is the time where you can actually brag about yourself in a professional setting, right? You want to set yourself up for success. And this resume, depending on how you set it up and how you format it and how it's put together, you're gonna either get that job or you're not. That's gonna be the determining factor. Whether you get the job, whether you get the scholarship, whether you get into that school. Sometimes it boils down to how well you put your resume together, how much interest I have in you based on what you have provided to me, right? And that's important because as you move into adulthood and as you move into, going into college and stuff, you want to make sure that people remember you. And this is a sure way for someone to remember you, especially if they're seeing your resume before they see you. Does that make sense? Many times when you're applying for a job, when you're applying for an internship, when you're applying for some sort of, even some volunteer work, they might want to know what other volunteer work have you done, or what else have you done within your community or within your respective settings. What have you done, and how have you contributed to the whole, right? Or the community as a whole, or whoever it is that you're working with or for. So it's important that your resume is on point. All right. Using and again, we talked about where or how it's used in employment, for industry, nonprofit, public sectors, and schools. Persuasive writing. What does that mean? The curriculum vitae, that's more, that's more academic based, for like professors and researchers and scientists. A lot of times they have more detailed accounts of their credentials, and so that's not something, until you get to that point, that's not something you would have to be concerned about, but it is something to know. But what is persuasive writing? And I'm asking you because you should have learned this in the most recent class with Professor C. So who can tell me what persuasive writing is?
Can I answer it?
Yes, absolutely. No, go
Okay.
ahead. I can't even see you raise your hand, so just unmute.
Persuasive writing is when you're trying to convince somebody of something that you may believe in and you want them to also believe in what you believe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that answer. Yes, you want to convince. That's the key word right there. You want to convince somebody why they should hire you, right? Why they should pick you for this scholarship, why they should pick you over, Joe Schmo. What is it about you that stands out above the rest? And so that's what we're going to make sure that you all walk away with today. All right, so these are some of the standard good practice resume writing tips. We want to make sure that it's typed. You want to make sure it's neat, error-free, okay? 1 page, 2 page max, proper format, active voice, right? So tell us what you do. Don't talk in third person. You want to make sure that you're telling us, and it's, again, convincing, honest, do not fluff, do not lie. Do not make up things as you go. If you've only been at a job for 6 months, do not say you were there for a year because you think it's going to look better. Please, because they will find out. Most, employers, if they're interested enough in you, they're going to do their background research before they even reach out to you. So you want to make sure that you're not giving them any reason to doubt anything about you. Always be honest, clear, and concise. What does that mean? Joel, tell me what that means. What does it mean to be clear and concise?
To be clear and concise means to stick straight to the point and just be clear, like just be specific and
Yes.
straight to the point, basically. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the word I was looking for. You want to be specific and straight to the point, right? You want to give them what they need, but you don't want to overdo it, right? You don't want to, give them too much information. You don't want to give them too little information. You want to just be clear and concise, okay? Anybody else want to add to any of these? What does it mean to be error-free? Shania.
Error-free means like a resume without any mistakes or
Yes.
or no like grammar accidents.
Absolutely. Now, we all say, I am not perfect. None of us are perfect, but guess what? When it comes to your resume, it better be close to, if not right on point to perfect. Because that's what's going to set you apart. And it really just boils down to how well are you reviewing your information? How well are you, checking and making sure that you're crossing your T's and you're dotting your I's. How well are you checking the information? How well are you, are you going and taking it to someone else to review? And that's also something that you definitely want to do. You want to make sure you take it to someone else to look at, right? Because a second set of eyes is always better than one pair. Two pairs is always better than one, right? So you want to make sure that you're doing that as well. All right. And these are some of the things to include, or some of the information that you want to include when you're writing your resume, when you're thinking out the resume, right? It's an outline. Okay, so it's based on, it's sectioned out, right? So you have your information at the top, your contact information, then it goes into your objective. Your objective is essentially what you are looking to obtain or what you are looking to do, or even stronger, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, more action verbs, right? Even stronger, what are your qualities? Why are you qualified? What are your skills? What are your strengths? That can be a part of your objectives, right? Your skill sets, and your career goals. Okay. Include all relevant experience. Showcase your skills. Again, we just talked about that. List accomplishments, not duties. What does that mean? When I say list accomplishments, what do I mean, Nina?
A list of goals that you achieved over time.
Goals? When we say accomplishments, what are accomplishments? What does that mean? Is it a goal, or is it something you've already?
It's already something you accomplished, but like
You've
it's
already
a
done
goal
it.
that you've achieved.
Yes, absolutely. So it's not something that you're looking to do. It's something you've already done. You've already accomplished it. So that's what you want to highlight that. You don't want to talk about, well, my duty is to wipe the tables down. I sweep the floor at night. I open and close the windows. I'm making examples here, but those are duties. They don't want to hear about your duties. They want to know impact. They want to know how well you did your job and what impact you had in doing that job. You could be the best burger flipper ever. I'm telling you, it's all in how you word it, right? We want to talk about those action verbs. Action verbs is just that, verbs in action, right? What have you done, and how has it impacted the people that you are servicing? Okay. Tailor each resume to the job, and we'll go into that a little bit later on. Consider the format. Format is very, very, very key, because you want to make sure everything is consistent throughout. All right. If you have bullet points, and bullet points are part of the formatting, you want to make sure that you're making statements and not full-on sentences. Use examples. If you can, you don't necessarily, and when we say use examples, it's within your statement. So in one of your bullets, I successfully accomplished A, B, and C, and as a result, I was able to, garner 50% more revenue within the first year, more than the company has done in 5 years. I'm embellishing, but that's essentially what it is. You want to use examples of how that, like, give me an example of how you impacted. Don't just tell me that you made an impact, but how so? And then proofread and edit. Always edit. Always proofread. Proofread, proofread, proofread. Remember, I said that. And you want to consider a template. So you guys are going to go through, and during our time together, you all will break out into groups, and I want you to work on, I'm going to send you 2 templates, and you're going to choose which template you want to use. And you're going to work on this template together within 2 groups. Actually, I'm going to give one template to one and another template to the other. That's how we're going to do that. And you're going to create a person. You're going to create the job description. You can, and you guys can get creative with it. But you're going to create a resume. And from this template, you can actually reuse this template to start working on your own. You can either create a dummy, rather, or if you will, a dummy template, or excuse me, not a template, but a dummy profile, right? Or if you wanted to use it for yourself to start out, you can do that as well. But consider using a template, because it gives you the format. It already outlines everything for you. So it's less work that you're having to do. Why reinvent the wheel when the templates are there for you? All right. And it also helps you to organize your thoughts, and prioritize, right? You want to make sure that everything is organized. You want to make sure that everything flows. You want to make sure that the information appears the way you want it to. And and so that it's appealing to the reader, because that's what matters. All right. How long should a resume be? I think we talked a little bit about, well, we didn't talk about that yet, but that was one of your questions in the pre-test. So standard 1 page, and we actually did mention this earlier in one of the slides, no more than 2. Okay, standard 1 page, no more than 2. You start getting into too much and multiple pages, it becomes a book, it becomes less, interesting. People lose interest after a certain amount of time. Actually, according to this third bullet, there is a triple S rule. And if you remember the triple S rule, you'll go very far. You only have about 7 solid seconds to wow them. What does that mean, Sarminta? I only have 7 solid seconds to wow them. And based on the first 2 bullets, what do you think that third bullet is implying? Are you with us, Sarminta? I can't see everyone, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Did you hear my question?
Yeah, I heard it. I just didn't really
Okay.
know how to answer it. So I was thinking.
Okay. All right. So 7 solid seconds to wow them. What do you think that means, Shania? And we'll come back to you, Samantha. I want you to think about that. What do you
Okay.
think that means? Based on the 2, and that's what I'm saying. Look at the 2 that precede this third bullet. The standard 1 page, no more than 2. Don't lose your reviewer. So what does it mean when I say triple S, the triple S rule? 7 solid seconds. That's the triple S right there. Yes, Samantha.
You don't want it to be longer than 1 page or longer than 7 seconds, because those 7 seconds are when their attention is like fresh, and within those seconds you can wow them and you'll be more likely to do it.
Absolutely. Now, so the 7 seconds means that that's how long they're going to look at your resume. So it's not so much as you want it to stay to 1 page, because you may just be so great and amazing and phenomenal, and you're just all over the place. Like, we have some scholars on here. All of you all are phenomenal, but some of you all are just into everything. All kind of extracurriculars, and it makes my head spin, right? So you're likely going to need more than just that 1 page. So it's not necessarily the 1 page as it is what you put on that page or those pages that matters. You want to be we talked about it, or not talked about it, but we say this all the time. This is a little cliche, like your first impressions are like the most important impressions, right? It means everything. First impressions matter. And this is what this is saying. After the first 7 seconds of reviewing that resume, they'll let you know whether or not you're going to receive that call. You'll know rather if you're going to receive that call, because you'll either get it or you won't, right? So you want to make sure that you stick to standard 1, no more than 2, and just make sure that you're doing your due diligence to not overword it, not overfluff it. Don't don't over exert when it comes to having all these big words that don't really mean anything. Try to stay away from the thesaurus. That was my best friend when I was in high school, and that's why I say that, because people knew me because I loved the thesaurus. I just did. I didn't like using your basic standard words. I always loved elaborating and using bigger words because it just made me feel bigger. Don't. Not in your resume, not if you don't need to, especially because some of these words that you use, you want to make sure that it's clear and, again, concise. Any questions? No questions so far? All right. So we talked about this earlier, right? List your achievements or your accomplishment, not your responsibilities or your duties, right? Your employers are not concerned with the tasks that you were assigned, right? I was assigned to take notes. I was assigned to make calls. I was assigned to turn on and off the light when I walked out the room. They want to know how well you did it. Do not be afraid to brag. Bring all you've got. I couldn't fit the you in there, so you got to that's why I put a little you. But bring all you've got, right? Everything about you. It must stand out in your resume. And the hardest part is, how do I fit everything about me, especially when I'm doing so much? I'm on the basketball team. I'm the captain for the basketball team. I don't just play, but I'm the captain, or, I'm a part of the National Honor Society, or whatever the case, right? There's going to be so much about you all that is so great, that I can see you having a hard time. But guess what? Your resume is something that grows with you, and you can have multiple versions of it, because no one resume is going to fit every position, is going to fit every situation, right? So make sure you're updating your resume often. It grows with you and it precedes you. And what do I mean by it precedes you? And I talked about it earlier. I didn't use that word, but it's essentially the same thing. What do I mean when I say your resume precedes you?
It shows who you are.
How so? But precedes you. What does that mean? So in advance of meeting you, they see what first?
They see all your accomplishments and the best of you.
They see your resume, right? What are you doing when somebody asks you to send them information? Has anybody ever, by a show of hands, or just take yourself off mute, has anybody done a resume before? Does anybody have a resume? Okay,
No.
that's great, because you do. Okay, all right. Nina raised her hand. Sounds like Joelle does too. And that's great, because now you're going to know whether or not you are on point with your resume after this class, and we'll be able to shift gears. We'll be able to pivot if you need to, right? So your resume grows with you. But the good thing about it is that you don't have to put everything, all your eggs in one basket, right? You can sort out your eggs and spread the wealth a little bit, right? So you can have multiple resumes, and that helps, right? Because if you're going for a position in administration, you don't want something that talks all about science or your time at McDonald's, or right, you want something that's specific to that particular job. Why? Because they want to see that you have the qualifications that they're looking for. They want to see that you have the experience that they're looking for. If you do not, then chances are they're going to overlook you and go the other route, or with the next person who is more qualified. Okay. So your resume precedes you, meaning they meet your resume before they meet you. The schools will meet your resume before they meet you. The organizations, nonprofit or for-profit, they will meet your resume before they meet you. The corporations, they see your resume before they meet you. They might send you an email saying, hey, send us a resume, or you might just go on LinkedIn, which is what we'll talk about today. You might just go on LinkedIn and listen, like put your information on LinkedIn, and somebody may reach out to you and say, hey, we want more information on you, like, can you send us your resume? Like, we see it online, but can you actually send us? So even though they've seen you in the platform or on social media or wherever they might meet you, they're not meeting you in person before they see your resume. 9 times out of 10, the resumes always precede you. Okay, any questions about that? And why does that matter though? And Nina, you kind of hit it there too. Why does that matter? If the resume precedes you, you want to make sure, right, that your resume it represents you well, so that when you step into that room, they are flabbergasted. Like, they are like, oh, you're hired. Like, I don't even need to know anything else about you. You're hired. Thank you so much for coming in. Can you start tomorrow? I'm being dramatic here, but listen, it can happen. That's how you want your resume to precede you. You want it to be such a great representation of yourself that when you walk in the room, there's not much else to say. Okay? Customize your resume. Again, we talked about that, so here it is. Don't use the same resume for every job. Make sure you tailor your resume to fit the position that you're applying for. Tell them why you, right? You'll have a cover letter. So the cover letter is basically what goes along with your resume. In a lot of cases or instances, they might ask for a resume, or they may even ask for a cover letter. And the cover letter is a brief description of who you are, what your career goals are, and why you're looking to apply for that particular position, right? A cover letter essentially accompanies or the resume rather, is usually accompanied by the cover letter. Okay, so you want to make sure that your cover letter tells a story in and of itself as well. Why you? Highlight your skills, your qualities, experience directly related to that position. Any questions about this? No? All right, moving right along. Avoid buzzwords. Use keywords. All right. According to Financial Summary, roughly 90% of Fortune 500 companies use applicant tracking systems, ATS systems, for resumes. That's essentially saying the system is designed to pick out keywords in a resume. If your resume does not have those specific keywords in them, those strong active verbs in them or action verbs in them, it's likely that the system is going to bypass or basically just overwrite your resume and not even overlook it, rather, not even take a second look at it or glance, right? And it's a system. So it's not like there's any empathy or any moral compass behind, and nothing. It's not saying, well, she's a good person, so I'm going to just, no. This is a system designed to pick out keywords. And if you don't have those keywords in there, then it's likely going to filter you out and go to the next one. All right. So research the hiring companies. And a lot of times that's where you're going to find those keywords. Research hiring companies, their objectives, the job descriptions, because most times if you're looking on LinkedIn, if you're looking on careers.com, if you're looking on jobs.com, anywhere that you're looking for either a job or you're looking for an internship or whatever it is that you're looking for, if you do your research and you find out what they're looking for from you, you can take some of those words and you can utilize that. Now, that is not plagiarism because you're not taking verbatim what they are saying. You're just taking keywords and then you're putting your spin on it, how it applies to you and how you, can use that to your benefit. So that's a way that you can find it. So find keywords and the content directly related to your experience and use them organically. Do not go overboard, right? You don't want to fluff. And that's what that means. What do I mean by fluff? Somebody give me an example of fluff. When I say fluff, what do I mean? Excuse me. Go ahead, Shania.
Like fluff is when you say let's say you're working in a restaurant and you're done and you want to get hired to work at a different restaurant, but you say you worked at this restaurant for, let's say, 10 years, but you only worked at a certain restaurant for 2.
Well, that's actually lying. So remember, we talked about that, like being honest, right? Integrity first. So yeah, that could be considered fluff, but just over exaggerating, right? You're just putting too much into it and you're going to lose the reader. You don't want to and again, we talked about those big fluffy words that really mean nothing. It's just another synonym to a more simple, simplified word that you could have used, but you chose not to. So again, don't fluff it because they'll see that. Don't go overboard with, explaining what you've done and how you've done it. Yes, brag, but brag within rights. Okay, or within means rather. Don't go overboard. And then avoid buzzwords or cliches. Can anybody tell me what a cliche is? Anybody give me an example of a cliche? So cliche is kind of like a catchy phrase, right? It's a catchy phrase. So once sore, always sore. That's a cliche. That's something that we say, or something like that. I'm thinking of a way. Let's see, what is another cliche? Help me out here. Let me see. Trying to think of one. I can't think of one. But anyway, it's basically a catchy phrase. You want to stay away from those. You want to stay away from the cliches and anything that's going to kind of take away from the essence of your writing, the essence of who you are as a person. Okay. Let's see what we have in the chat. What do we have in the chat? Early birds get the worm. There you go. That's a better one. I like that one. Go ahead. That's Professor JR. Take one bite of an elephant at a time. Yes. Okay. I never heard that one, Miss Latoya, but thank you. One day at a time. Yeah, that's a cliche. Just anything that's going to take away from the essence of your writing is something that we want to make sure to stay away from. Nina, go ahead. You had your hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, see you later, alligator.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I had to sneeze. My allergies are killing me today, guys. Yes.
I always say that. I always say, see you later, alligator.
See you later. After a while, crocodile. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Just keep it simple. Like, keep it simple. Yes, and the list goes on and on. So just make sure to avoid that at all costs. No, it's after a while, crocodile. All right, Professor JR, you on a roll until now. After a while, crocodile. All right. So yes, it's not the same thing. Sorry. Let's avoid the cliches and the buzzwords. All right. So what can we use instead? I'm glad you asked. So let's talk about some of these action verbs. Now, action verbs are, like I said, basically that, right? So those are words that describe and could better describe who you are as an individual, who you are as a worker, as a candidate, okay, for said position or for said scholarship or whatever the case may be. So these are some words that you may want to use instead of, right? So instead of managed, you can use more and stronger words, right? Stronger words that help to define you, but still don't take away from the actual word managed. It's just a different way to use it, but it's a stronger term to use. Guided, facilitated, recruited, mentored, cultivated, right? These are some words that you can use in place of management. Likewise for instead, or excuse me, likewise for help and created, right? Instead of saying I helped somebody, you could say coached, I coached someone, or I represented the youth at the YMCA as we went on to defeat or whatever, as we went on to the championships and we won the championships. I referred students or whatever the case. I designed, I originated, I developed this application. And as a result, most kids use it or whatever, however you want to say it, right? You want to make sure that your statements are strong, that the words that you use, hi, Savan, the words that you use are strong. So instead of creative, which is pretty vague, you want to use something that's stronger and that still defines you. So that's what a strong action verb is. Any questions about this?
So basically synonyms, basically.
They are, yes, absolutely. But they're strong words, right? You have synonyms that don't, and not every action verb is treated the same, right? Every action verb is not. So with synonyms, be careful, right? Because sometimes you can go into the synonym hole. Like back in my day, or our day, mine and JR and Toya's day, we had the thesaurus. It's still around, but now you have all these other fancy techie type ways to look up words or whatever. But yes, synonyms can be good, or action verbs are really, really good, but you also want to make sure that you use those in moderation as well. But these are strong action verbs. So not every action verb is treated the same. Not every action verb, or excuse me, not every synonym, and not every action verb is used the same or should be used the same way. So you just have to be mindful of and think about what you're trying to say. What are you trying to convey in that statement that you're making? Right? What are you trying to convey? And what do you want people to know about the impact that you've made as a result of that? So the action verb itself is saying, like, you took on a leadership position. So for instance, with managed, right? You're taking on a leadership role by directing, guiding. Like when I hear the word directed, I automatically think leadership. I automatically think, wow, like you spearheaded something, recruited, right? You were at the forefront of this. You mentored, you cultivated. Like those are strong words. And that to me, that's like, oh, wait a second. Joel, he sounds like a leader here. He sounds like he's had some serious leadership positions. Let me dig deeper. Let me see what else Joel has to offer. Right. Then they start looking, and that 7 seconds may get a little longer. but you got to wow them in that first 7 seconds or it's a wrap. All right, let me see what's in the chat. Yes, you are right. Also, if going to use certain words, make sure you know the definition. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Because sometimes synonyms, and that's why I said not every synonym or action verb is considered the same. Sometimes synonyms can have, it could take on different connotations than what the word is that you're trying to convey or the information that you're trying to convey. And so you need to make sure that you are using the word that properly helps to define that statement. Does that make sense? Or properly helps to strengthen that statement, okay? To highlight it, to bring it out, to bring it to the forefront so somebody sees it and it makes them want to read more about you. All right, are there any questions about this? All right, so let me ask you a question. If for the first bullet, all right, we have these different words here. Give me one statement about you and something that you've done in a leadership role that you can use one of these words to define in one statement. So you can say, I directed a staff of 3 or, a group of 3. Savon is on the line. Savon, I don't even want to give hers away because I know she'll probably come up with something really good. But you all have been placed, I'm sure, in leadership positions already. Just in high school, right? I'm sure you're a part of some extracurriculars. Even just being a part of this program, that puts you in a leadership position. I was a part of a business and entrepreneurship program where I helped cultivate a culture of camaraderie, and I helped cultivate a culture of unity. And as a result, my cohort and we did phenomenal, and we went above and beyond and created these presentations. And I'm going off now, because I could talk all day about these, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what have you done, and what are one of the words that you can use here to help describe that? I'd like everyone to give me one statement, and you can actually use any one. So you could use either managed, help, or created, but don't use those words. Use the action verb in place of that word to describe to me something that you've done in one statement. If you need time to think, well, let's give about 1 minute, and you can write it down. If you want to take it to the paper, write it down so that you can you can gather your thoughts. Let's take about 1 minute. Let's think about that for a minute. And I want you to use one of these words to describe you and your leadership ability or attributes. All right, so it's 7:21. We'll give you until 7:20. Or a little bit more than 7:22 since it's already 7:22. So about 30 more seconds. If you're ready, you can raise your hand and let me know. I can't see everyone because I'm blocking my presentation. So if you're ready, just raise your hand and we'll come to you.
Savon right, has her hand up.
Yep, I see Savon. All right, good, Savon. So we'll get to you in 1 second. Let's see. All right, well, go ahead, Savon.
Okay,
Take
can
it
you
away.
hear me? Everything's
I can
good?
hear you loud and clear.
I've directed a student-led club called the Black American Culture Club to influence students to learn more about Black culture and those who are not Black to learn a little bit more about a culture that has had a huge impact on the world today.
Whoa! Girl, I knew you was gonna have something, but woo. Now that right there. Okay, so let's hear some thoughts about Miss Savon's statement. Very good. Yes, Miss C said very good. I'm not surprised at all, but very, very good. All right. Miss Latoya, what do you think? I like to get the instructors involved too in my class, and I like to get involved in others' classes too. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to involve our instructors. It was perfect. Yes, Nina, it was. Miss Latoya, what do you think?
I thought it was very well done. I thought it was concise. It was clear. That felt like you used the words properly. There was no jargon or cliches. I thought it was very well done.
Awesome. I agree. I concur. All right, one more. One more. Let me get a feedback from one more person. What'd you think, Joel? Well, okay, so Nina
I
said it
think
was
it,
perfect. Go ahead.
yeah, I think it was clear and concise, and it's
Clear and
very
concise.
put well together.
Excellent. I think Joel is liking this clear and concise. Yes, I agree, Joel. All right, so who's next? Who wants to go next? It was beautiful. Yes, it was, Shania. Thank you. Thank you all for your feedback. You're very encouraging. I love it. All right, who's next? Who wants to go next? I don't see any hands. Don't make me volunteer you. I'll do it. Who's next? All right, so I'm gonna volunteer. Joel, come on, let's go. Let's see what you got. No pressure. Listen, you're gonna be able to work and finesse this, right? This is all rough draft stuff. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. You want me to come back to you?
Yeah, please, thank
All right, no problem. All right, let me see. Shania, let me see what you got. Top scholar. What you got?
It's so hard.
Right, being put on the spot. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh, I don't
But
like
you know
this.
what's the hardest part is bragging on yourself. I am learning that to talk about yourself and to talk about your greatness. Like you know all the things you've done. It's just
Yeah.
hard to put it in words, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
Uh,
you need a little more time? You need like one more minute? We don't want to
yeah.
go over. All right, let's see. Let's see. Um, who we got? Nina. Nina.
Yes.
Let's go. What you got for me, lady?
I'm trying to think because I don't know about anything with like leadership wise instead of just like explaining directions to people in class. But I was gonna say something for designed. Like
Uh-huh.
I've designed and market products for Amazon.
Yes. That's perfect. And okay, so you've designed it, so what? What is that? So remember, we want to know the what, the why, and the so what, and what. I think that's what Miss Kiana said, right? So what did that do though? So
It
you
got the
designed this
product.
amazing product, and what happened as a result? What's the impact?
I brought more attention to the product
More
and got
attention
paid
to
commission.
the product? Say it again. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I brought more attention to the product and got commission.
And got commissioned. First of all, that sounds like an awesome word. But in this context, what does that mean? When you say
By
commission, what does that mean?
by designing it and putting it out there and bringing attention to the project, I got paid for it.
What? That's a big deal, Nina. First of all, I got to see your face. Where is your face? I do not see your face. There you go. I need to see your whole face. I'm seeing the ceiling the whole time. We got to see faces, everybody. So if your face is not seen, I got to see it. Nina, that was perfect. You made money off of doing what you love. That is phenomenal. What? Oh, you gotta teach me how to commission. Shoot. All right. Awesome. So let's give some feedback to Nina. And you want to try it again, Nina? You want to say it from the top, just so we can kind of clear and concise it? Tell us what you
So,
did and how it made an impact.
okay, so I created and designed multiple products for Amazon, and brought more attention to it, leading to me getting paid commission.
Yes, you nailed it. I feel like a proud mommy right now. That was awesome. Good job. You nailed it. That second time
Thank you.
yes, absolutely. All right, everybody, let's give some feedback. That was phenomenal. Good job. All right, she got paid. Exactly. I need to be on your winning team. All right, everybody. Yeah, so cool. Got some planes in there. Got a wow. She got paid. That was awesome, Nina. Absolutely. Great job, Nina. All right, who's next? Yes, she increased her revenue. I like that. Yeah, so you could use that too, Nina. You see what Miss C put in the chat? You increase your revenue. So you can actually incorporate that. I would take that, by the way. I would take that before she takes it back. I would take that and I would use it.
I'm definitely taking it.
Take it right now. All right. So who's next? I think Samantha had her hand up. Go ahead, Samantha. Let's see what you got.
I put cultivating damaging habits such as procrastination is key to leading others. Being able to put aside mental blocks has helped me create and present class projects, get better grades, and help other people in the process.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think y'all should be teaching this class. That was awesome. Wow. You gave the who, what, where, why, when, and how, and who cares? Like
Thank
you
you.
really, yeah, that was great. That was great. And ooh, I hear myself. Yeah, cultivated and use that word. I love it. I love it. As opposed to managed, you use it. Nice use of verbs. Absolutely. Very nice. Yes. I love the mental health approach. Yes, I was going to say that too. And very appropriate considering the month that we're in, right? What is this month?
It's Asian American month.
Mental health awareness
sorry.
month. Yeah.
Oops,
So
sorry.
yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. Not everybody knows. So I do apologize because I should have just said it. But
It's
yes,
okay.
it is mental health awareness and Asian heritage. So it is. It's twofold. But I was saying it because she mentioned mental health. So absolutely, great job, and I love you guys' feedback, man. I'm just so you guys are really like knocking out the park. Small business month too. Oh gosh, they're just getting this too much. All right, who's next? Shania, come on, we back to you again. Let's see. Got it. And then we're gonna go on. I think we have like one more slide after this, and we're gonna go on a quick break. We're gonna finish up our slides, and we're gonna go right into our breakouts.
Let's see. I developed. I designed a presentation. In one of my classes in school about like cell phones that being used in school, and the reason why I created it was to talk about how to like use cell phones in a productive way so that it won't be like so distracting like in class and stuff.
All right, and what was the impact? How did that impact?
And it was about it was I don't I can't think about the impact of it.
So you brought awareness to
Yeah, I did.
right? You brought awareness to the usage of cell phones, and you gave people appreciation and understanding why it's important for them to have their full attention in class and keeping their phones at bay, right? So that they can learn
Right.
more. So you're teaching them that it's important for them to stay engaged in class. And having the phone on them at all times, impedes on that, right?
Yeah.
Did I hit it?
Yeah, but it also phones can be used like in a productive way as well too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So you're not anti-phone. You're just saying, there is a time and a place.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right. Let's get some feedback from the audience. Good job. Yes, I agree, Savan. Very, very good job, Shania. All right. What else do we have? Let's go in the chat. Let's see what our instructors have to say. You guys can come off mute if you want. I'd love it if you came off mute. I want this to be very interactive and engaging. Remember, the recording can't hear the chat, but they can hear your voice. So when people are watching this and they're learning more about us, they're going to be able to hear you and all of your input. So I think you did a phenomenal job, Shania. Anybody else have any input? All right. But there was a lot of input in the chat. So let's go to the chat. It says, good job. There's some clapping emoji, hand emojis. We also have that was from you, Shania. Yes. You're very welcome, Shania. Shania says, thank you very much. Very proud of all the first attempt in learning, all the fails. Yes. All right. I think, Joel, we're back to you again. What you got?
So I've helped represent and assess a YouTube video towards fitness and nutrition to others, like like the youth and just everyone in general, to bring more awareness and help people, motivate people, and be more confident and keep going.
Okay, in fitness and health. You said health and
Yes.
fitness? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. And so the impact was what? That they were motivated, and as a result, what? What do you feel like it did for them? You feel like it motivated them to do what? To be
I
better
feel like it
eaters, to
helped
be better.
people to definitely get out of their comfort zone and to try new aspects of life. And
Okay.
yeah, I feel like that was really it.
Yes, I love it. The only thing I would say is be mindful of the multiple action verbs that you use. So you use 3 within the same section, right? So you used help, you used represented, and you used assessed. I think you used assessed too. You used 3. I counted 3. So you want to make sure, again, that could be considered somewhat of a fluff because now you're using all the 3 words to say the same thing. So you want to make sure you're mindful of the wording that you use. Okay. I like how you redeemed yourself. Excuse me, guys. I apologize. I like how you redeemed yourself, and I liked how you told me what the impact was. Remember, guys, it's important. Whatever you've done, you got to let them know how it impacted. What impact did your work have on the community, on the people you served, on the people that you work with or for, right? I love the approach with the health and wellness, right? That's something that's big. And I love the fact that you talked about how it helped them to get out of their comfort zone, and it encouraged them, right? It made them feel empowered and like they could do it. And that's important, especially this month. Yes. Because a lot of people need to be encouraged. A lot of people need to feel some sense of pride in themselves, right? And I don't mean worldly pride. I mean, like, just internally they need to feel good about themselves. So I love that. Very nice. Anybody else want anything or has anything to add before we move on? Anything else? Going once.
I thought that he did it. I thought that he did a great job. I guess because he was verbally saying it, I was also, I guess I'm thinking about my next class. I was also hearing the ums. Obviously, you will be writing this, so you won't have the filler words, but just to be mindful of that clearness and conciseness, even once your resume turns into an interview, that would be the hope. So just to be mindful of that.
Yes, because the goal is for that resume to turn into that interview, and you're going to have to be able to convey what is on your interview. You're going to have to be able to communicate that verbally, as Ms. Latoya is talking about. She's going to talk about that extensively in the next class, and phenomenal class. So yeah, get ready for that one. But excellent point, Miss Latoya. So remember those verbal pauses, you guys. Oh, I don't know why I just muted myself. All right, moving right along. I think we have like one more. Okay. So this is a little video that I like to add in all of our classes. I just need to make sure my sound. I'm gonna stop sharing for 1 second because I don't think I shared my sound. But when we talk about jargon and we talk about like words to use or not to use in this day and age, I think you guys will definitely appreciate this. If I can get it to share. Okay, here we go. Sorry. I am attempting to share my sound. Hopefully you guys can hear. All right, here we go.
PTI, I need the PDF, COB, aka EOD. What's the ETA?
ASAP, FYI.
LMK. HBD Gordon. HBDY.
LOL, look at this GIF. It's GIF, FWIW.
ROTFL.
You see my IM?
TLDR.
What?
Too low, didn't read.
Okay.
We don't need any more acronyms, but we could all use more ways to save.
BMX, YOLO!
Switch to Geico for more ways to save.
SMH.
ROFL did this video? Share with your BFFs. And BTW, don't get FOMO. There's more great Geico content, so hit subscribe.
All right, so what did we get from that? And we're going right into what Miss Latoya talked about with the jargon. Spell out abbreviations, no acronyms. What did you get from that video? That short clip, that Geico, I love Geico commercials. They are so hilarious. But what did you get from it? Yes. IYKYK. Yes. If you know, you know. What did you guys get from that? This is, honestly speaking, this is like, I've never seen so many well, let me not say never. So the Air Force, I'm in the Air Force, right? For any of you who don't know that, I've been in 20 years this year. I'm only 21. Thank you very much. But I will be 20 years in the military as of October the 12th. And when I tell you we are so acronym centric, it's not even funny. Every text that we have, everything has an acronym, everything has a shortened, abbreviated term or what have you. It drives me nuts. But I feel like that's how it is in this generation. Like, you guys talking almost like Morse code or something. It's really like so funny how you guys communicate. But it's funny to me, but that's how you guys, it's a cultural thing. However, you've got to be very careful with that because you cannot do that in a resume. Avoid special characters and emojis. We like to talk with emojis. I know I do it all the time. We have a group chat, a S.O.A.R group chat with all the executive team members. And if you sat in there for one day, we'd probably drive you nuts. Like, we have so many emojis and, things. It's all in fun, but there's a time and a place for that, right? And so you got to make sure that your resume is not that place to use acronyms, to use abbreviations, unless it's a name of a company, or unless it's a name of a like, let's say it's an abbreviated name. So S.O.A.R, right? With S.O.A.R, we are essentially an acronym. Our name, S.O.A.R, is an acronym, right? It stands for something much larger. So when you are explaining how you participated in the S.O.A.R program, it could very well also be that you are going to put the acronyms in parentheses, and you're going to spell out the actual name of our organization. But you're not just going to leave it as, or you can say S.O.A.R because it's the name of the organization. So, it's not always that they're going to need the full name. But in certain instances, if you're using, you can't just say RU for Rutgers University. You're going to have to spell out Rutgers University at the very least, right? You're not going to use DSU for Delaware State University. You're going to have to spell it out. Even if you put it in parentheses, you're going to spell it out too. All right. So just some of the things to learn. And placement. Really quickly, because we have so much fun, and then
Rosie, Savon had her hand up.
Oh, I'm so
I'm not
sorry.
sure
Go
if you
ahead,
had a
Savon.
question.
Oh, no, I was just going to add to what you were saying that it was, I guess, unprofessional in the sense that you're supposed to be explaining about yourself and your accomplishments and cutting yourself short as well by shortening words that are big to what you have done, like the name of a university, the name of a program. Like you said, although there's an abbreviation because it's longer, you would still put what the actual name of it is and then that abbreviation
Absolutely.
about it.
Yes. Yes.
I was
And
gonna
there
say.
are certain exceptions to that rule, but you want to get into the habit of spelling out those words. All right. Great point, Savon. Anybody else? All right. I think this is it. Oh no. Well, all right. So we're gonna take a break right after this, and I'm this briefly because I didn't anticipate us having so much fun with this. But so if you're fresh out of college, no real work experience, make sure you place your education and all of your academic achievements at the top of your resume. Okay. Once you've had about 6 months to a year in the workforce, then that shifts and that moves down, and your professional or your career and your experience, the information goes up at the top. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. So this is some examples. We're just going to go fly through these really quickly. This is an older example. Resumes have gotten, they've evolved. There's so many templates out there that you can use. So this is a different type of template, but, or different look and feel of a template or format or what have you. But it's a resume. Okay. And we talked about LinkedIn. So here it is. So some of you should have already received a notification asking you to complete your LinkedIn profile. Only about 6 of you sent in. I believe I'm waiting on one more scholar's application to come through for you all or for us to create the LinkedIn profile for you. So what we're doing is we're establishing the LinkedIn profile, but you have to complete it. All right. And then when you complete it, like towards the end of the session, I'm going to try to see if we can fit in like one more class. And this is just, you don't have to, but so that we can go through your LinkedIn page or profile once it's set up. And so you can see where you're going to place your badge, which should happen automatically once you receive your badge for this particular course, but also where you're going to put your resume, right? Because that stuff matters. LinkedIn profile is important. And a lot of people have found jobs through LinkedIn. A lot of companies have found employees through LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that you have a LinkedIn profile. And that's why we took the liberty. Now we're halfway through. So some of you should have already received the initial profile setup information, and you guys will have to finish the rest. And once you finish the rest, you have to let me know, and then we'll go through it. So even if I have to do one-on-one with you all to show you, and you got to keep your pages private. So there's a whole lot, all the stuff that's in that application that your parents submitted and approved you for. We need to make sure that we stick to those guidelines. Okay. And then, studies show that those who take time to maintain their professional LinkedIn, it says not free, but really, you can't afford the paid version, which it just gives you more access. It gives more access, to people, of you to more people. But basically it's likely to garner more attention. Your paid version. All right. But in the interim of getting that, you can use your free version, at least set it up and get a feel for it if you don't already have one. If you have one, you need to let us know so we're not wasting our time creating one for you. If not, then rest assured you will have a LinkedIn profile set up and you will have to complete that. And you should have gotten, I think we've done so far, Winifred, Savon, and I think Serminta. Our assistants have set you guys up already. So we need to do about 4 more and we'll be good. Nina, I believe I need your application. So if and when you can, send that to me as soon as possible, okay?
Okay.
All right, and proofread. Proofread. Did you catch that? Anybody catch this? Have someone else, fresh set of eyes, look over your resume. Catch anything you may have missed. Anybody catch anything on here? Look out of place?
There were a few head nods.
Okay, awesome. Proofread. All right. And here we go. This is what I was looking for. So we got 10 minutes. We'll be back at around 8 o'clock. We'll go through the last couple of slides. We'll see if we have any Q&A questions. And then Ms. Latoya broke you all out into 2 groups. And so I'm going to send you guys, we'll have a group leader. And then you guys will work amongst each other with just that one resume. And you'll get a copy of it as well. So you guys can use the templates as well. I'll send you guys both the templates. But for class and for you all working together, you guys are going to get 2 separate templates. You're going to work together to fill in the blanks, and then we're going to go over it towards the end of the class. All right. And go over, and then the last part will be going over some do's and don'ts for resumes. All right, so let's be back at 10 o'clock. Or excuse me, 7:50. No, 8 o'clock. No. Thank you. Let's see. All right, so if you guys see, I put 2 samples. The first sample, 2 samples basically of 2 different style resumes, just so you can have an idea of the different types of resumes that are out there, or different formats, different styles, different templates that are out there. So one of you all is going to be a class lead, and then you guys are gonna see, because I don't think you can share your screen. I don't know if Zoom has that capability yet. When we are broken out into rooms, so everybody will be able to look on their phones and access the resume, but only one person will make the changes. So you'll make your suggestions or recommendations, and then you'll fill in the blanks. All right. There are fillers already there. So all you're going to do is replace the fillers with your information. All right. And so let me go back to my presentation. Let me find it. Go back to it. And we're going to, 1 second. All right. Here we go. So we'll take a couple of just a quick glance at a couple of different resumes, and you can tell me just based on that really quickly, because I want you to get an idea for what, some do's and some don'ts. We did have a lot of great information that we shared, but now it's time to put it into practice, right? So we want to make sure that you understand how to apply what you've learned into real time. All right. So we already, right there, the pluses and minuses, the X's and the checks are already there for you. So it tells you right off the bat which one is right, which one is wrong, or which one is good and which one is bad, right? So just based off of this, it's a little fuzzy. Sorry, my screen when it's stretched out, I don't know why it's fuzzy like that on here, but just give me one example of why, what looks wrong about the one on the left versus the one on the right. Remember some of the information that we talked about already: clear and concise, consistency, right? Making sure that everything is formatted correctly, making sure that everything flows. So what is wrong about this one? Go ahead, Shania.
In the first example, there is no like personal information in there.
Okay, when you say personal information, what do you mean? Their contact information is in there.
Yeah.
It's there at the top. You see it at the top left? You're talking about the first one, or which one? The one that's wrong,
The
or the one that's right?
The first one, the one that's not correct.
Okay. Yeah, their contact information is there. But what else do you think is might be wrong with it? Go ahead, Savan.
The one on the left doesn't show like the job they're looking for, and the one on the right says like data scientist. So right off the bat, like what position they're applying for, I guess, or what they can do.
I think that's what they're qualified to do. Like that's their position, or that's what they're able to do, or that's their role or their position. So, but that's a good observation. Okay. My biggest thing is formatting. If you guys see, the bullets are all over the place, right? There's some bullets. We talked about formatting is important, right? There's some bullets in some sections. There's some they're just not there. Some of the bullets are way off to the left. So that's one thing that stands out to me, and it's not consistent, right? We want to make sure that it's formatted throughout, clear and concise. What about this one? What's wrong about the one on the right? Just based on what we've already covered.
Rosie, is there a way to make the image a little bit bigger?
I feel like if I make it too big, it's gonna pixelate it even more. I don't know that like this is as big as it is on my screen. I don't know if, can you see it? Like, did you see it go bigger?
We saw it go bigger. It's just then we can't see it side by side.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So, but okay, so for this one, you could see that there are no bullets. Everything is more like there's sentences as opposed to statements, right? You don't want to put full on sentences. Hard skills, soft skills are not really necessary the way that it's listed out here. And you know, how you label it is that could kind of go either way, but there should be some consistency. Also, they have work experience, right? So if they have work experience, what do we say about that? Where does that belong?
At the top.
At the top, right? And the education goes down below that. All right. So just some things to consider when you're working on your resume. Oh, all right. So here's where we get to have fun with it. So again, as I mentioned, what you all are going to do, everybody has access to the template, so you guys can choose which one you like better and use it. You may choose the same one, but I'm going to give you the option to choose. I want you guys to have at least that flexibility to be able to choose which one you like. And then you're going to go through and you're going to fill in some of the blanks. You may not get through all of it, but certainly put a little bit of thought into it, right? And you can do it for either yourself or, because you're working in a group, maybe make up someone, and then kind of decide how you want that person's experience to look, how you want their education to appear, things of that nature. Work together and get creative with it. I don't want to give you too many ideas because I want you to come up with something creative, whether it's for yourself, and you want to choose just one person and use an example of that individual, or if you want to just choose, a sample or a dummy profile. All right. So, Miss Latoya, if you will, I'm going to stop sharing, and then everybody should have access to the resume so you can at least follow along, because I don't believe you, like I said, I don't believe you can share in your respective groups, your screens. But you all can click on the link and you'll all have access to it, and then you can kind of go through each of the sections together, but choose whoever your team lead is going to be for it. All right.
They should be able to share. I mean, if they want to, they should be able to share in the breakout rooms.
Oh, can they now?
If they
I
want
didn't
to.
know that.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. If you want to share, that'd be even better. That way everybody's looking at one screen or document. You're gonna have about, I'd say, what time is it? 8:08. About 15 minutes. Because this is basically us closing out after this. We're gonna go over let's do 10. Let's do 10 minutes. Is that enough? I think 10 minutes is good, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of time. And again, you have access to these two templates. So that being said, you're going to use one of these two templates to create your own resume as well. All right. So there's that.
Okay.
All right. So we'll see you back here at what, 8:20? We'll say 8:20.
I set the timer on the room, so it should notify them.
All right, awesome. And we'll join in some of the rooms, see how you guys are doing. Go from there. But are there any questions? Are there any questions for what we discussed so far? Actually, no, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So that was it. So that was going to be the last of it, and then me asking if you guys had any questions. Now I do have some additional resources. You guys will get this deck in the Google Slides, or rather the Google Drive in the classroom. There is a proprietary note in there. Please make sure that you are not sharing this information out with anyone. This is for your eyes only, right? So let's keep it that way. But yes, you guys will have access to this information. We will put it in the Google Classroom for you guys to review and follow along with, okay? Any questions? This was a great class. You guys were very engaged, very interactive. And I'm sorry you guys didn't get to do more in the breakout room. Hopefully next time we'll have more time. But what are your thoughts? How do you feel? Thank you, Miss C.
Miss
What are your
Rosie,
thoughts? Do you feel? Yes, ma'am.
I had a question, although I did come in late.
Uh-huh.
When making your resume, if you have a lot of accomplishments, if they don't fit the job, I mean, I know that we're young, do we still put it on there or?
And that's a great question, and we did cover that. So that is a great question. No, you want to make sure that it's applicable to whatever you're doing, right? Even if it's extracurriculars. You don't want to put too much information. Information overload is what we call it. You want to make sure that it's consistent with what they're looking for, right? You can be the best everything, basketball player, the best soccer player, but if that's not what they're looking for, don't give them what they're not looking for, okay? But great question, absolutely. And the same thing with job positions. Like if it's, again, we talked about it, and you'll see it in the slide deck too, because I know you did come on a little bit later, but for good reasons. You had an award ceremony to attend. So, but you also want to make sure that when you're submitting your resume, when it comes to like the jobs that you've done, any work you've done, so beyond extracurriculars, any work that you've done, whether it's volunteer or paid, unpaid internships, any kind of work, that you're only putting down what is applicable for that particular job. Or let's say if it's a scholarship, right, and they're asking you for, if it's a STEM scholarship, you don't want to put anything about you dancing for 10 years, or you know what I'm saying? Like that has, one thing has nothing to do with the other, and so that might not get you the results that you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Absolutely. Yes, Shania.
I was going to ask, like, can hard skills and certain soft skills, like good communication skills, be put on the resume as well?
Yes, you can. And that is something that you can put up at the top when you talk about your skill sets, or at the bottom rather, when you talk about your skill set. So hard skills and soft skills. Soft skills are more interactive, right? Or when you're working engagement, right? When you're working with people, you have certain attributes, right? That you're training, you specialize in training, right? Those are like certain attributes that you have. Those are soft skills, right? You're a people person. You're a leader by nature. Those types of things. Hard skills are more like technical, right? You know how to use Microsoft Word. You know how to use, how to open up a document on Google Drive or what have you, right? So those are more hard skills. You know how to, turn a wrench, right? You know how to create an app, something like that. So great question. Great question.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Joel, did Joel have his hand up? No. Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. I think, Ms. Latoya, we are done. That is a wrap. Thank you all so much for your time. I hope you got a lot out of this. Ms. Latoya just put the post test in the chat. So go on and click on that, and then you'll do the assessment and you're free to go. And thank you so much for your time tonight, everybody. You guys were amazing.
All right, everybody. Let's give some claps to Professor Rosie for tonight. Great class. I knew it was going to be a lot of great information for you, specifically for your project, but more so for your entire life. You will always need a resume. All right, so let me share my screen. All right, here we go. All right, great job. Which is not considered a soft skill. off office. Your career objectives described. Your overall career goal. Education and experience should be listed from most relevant to least, from most recent to oldest, from first job to last. It does not matter. All right, last question. Which selection would you list in work experience? All right, babysitter. Ah, great job, Savon. Joelle, you were so close. All
Great
right,
job,
awesome job.
everybody. Great job. Remember, with the resume, I saw there was probably maybe some confusion about the second to the last question about the resume should be in what order. So remember, the resume is from most recent to the oldest. So from the newest to the oldest, when it comes to like your experience. Okay. So your current to the oldest, I guess that's how I'm saying it. Yeah.
All right, so the scholar survey is in the chat. As soon as you are done completing that, you are free to exit tonight's class, and we will see you next Tuesday, same time, 6:30, same place. That is the very last class before your end of course assessment. So enjoy your Mother's Day, all the maternal love in your life. We hope that you'll be able to enjoy it and celebrate it.
I completed the survey, but I had a question in general. Should I just watch the video for the whole lesson, and like is the project on the Google Classroom, or is it in the email?
It's in the email.
Okay, and it has to do with this because I thought it was still working with our projects, I guess, that we did in the fundamentals. I'm not sure if they did anything different.
Yes. So similar to fundamentals, Savon, everyone submits a project. So for this block, for the advanced block, the project is the resume.
Oh, the
And
resume.
then for the actual assessment, what you're going to be presenting that day is an actual presentation about your business. So
Okay.
an actual slide deck. So let me share. It's in the email, but I can also drop it in the chat here. The link for that document.
Okay.
And so the next class is going to dive in into the presentation portion of the end of course assessment. But really, honestly, it's a lot involving what Ms. C went over in the business writing class and what Ms. Rosie went over tonight.
Okay, so do we get to choose? Because it says interview or the business thing. Or
Yes. So last for the fundamentals, if you remember, if someone, let's say, was just researching like a career path or a school or, a college, something like that, which is a school, then for the advanced, they would do the mock interview. But because you all presented a business in the fundamentals, then you all do the business presentation.
Okay.
To be specific, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll make sure that's clear to everyone.
Gotcha. And then for this, the business that we already, like the PowerPoint we already presented, I guess we're just adding changes to it based off of what we've acquired in this session.
Yes. So Savon, in fundamentals, and I know you did it the last cohort, did you submit a deck? You didn't actually present a deck on screen on the Zoom call though, right?
I think we gave a quick like spiel about ours.
Yeah.
So
So this time you're actually sharing your screen.
Sharing it. Okay.
Yeah, and like sharing a full, not I'm saying full, but like, a few slides, 3 to 5 slides, like the guide says, of your business. So that's now going to include a lot more, just like a further extension of what you presented in fundamentals, more elaborate. And, we'll touch on a lot more in class on Tuesday. But like I said, it's really diving into a lot of what Ms. C talked about, your persuasive writing, your transactional writing, informative writing, and what Ms. Rosie presented tonight. Going to make sure there's no typos, going to make sure it looks presentable, the formatting is right. So a lot of transferable skills to everything that was covered previously.
Okay, so the only brand new thing is that we're just writing a resume now, and that's going to be added on to the other project that we've done, and we're making changes. Okay.
Exactly. Yep.
Got you. Okay.
You nailed it. You're welcome.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks,
Good
you
night.
too. Good night,
Great job,
everyone.
everybody.
Great job, Miss Rosie. Great class.
Thank you. Shania, did you have a question?
Yeah. I have a question. Do we just have to do the resume, or do we have to just do the resume, or do we have to do like another project alongside the resume?
Right. So your resume is, everybody has to have a resume, right? So everybody's going to create a resume. That is a living, moving, breathing document. That document will go with you from now to eternity, right? And at least in your career, you'll be able to use this, and it'll continue to evolve as you do. The presentation is different, and Miss Latoya, I don't want to give anything away because she's going to explain that all next week. What you need to provide for your presentation. So again, it's an extension of what you did in the fundamentals. You're further elaborating on that, and you're making a visual of what you did verbally. Does that make sense? So you're creating a slide deck, of that.
Thanks.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Miss Latoya, was that good, or did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yep. Nope. That was perfect.
Okay. Awesome. All right, Shania, if you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to us, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Have a
You're
great
very
night.
welcome.
Good
Great
night,
job
everyone.
tonight. Good night.